said, come hither, come hither. So Jack says, Duke Dame, Duke Dame, Duke Dame. Here shall I see gross fools as he, and if he will, come to me. So if anybody wants, is the kind of person who is renouncing his gifts, then he'll come here and see other fools like him, because they have all renounced the city life and they have come to live in the forest over here. So Eamon says, what is that, Duke Dame? So Jack says, it is a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. So he actually is making fun. It is just a word. He said, I've just invented this word to call people to have their meals to come. I'll go to sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt. Now, yes, so when he was saying Duke Dame, he was calling all the people around him, and he said, these are the fools who are coming because I'm calling them. And he says, I'll go to sleep if I can. So, because, Jacques is actually getting very irritated and he's getting frustrated because he has to live in the forest. And so he cannot openly vent against the Duke, but he says it over here. He says, if I cannot sleep, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt. Now, this is an allusion, or he's actually referring to the Bible, where God destroyed all the firstborns of every Egyptian family. Now, why he says that? He says because in the Duke's family also, Duke Senior is the firstborn. Duke Junior Frederick is the second one who had stayed behind. Duke Senior has left everything behind, and he has, when Jacques was saying Duke Dame, he said, although he's a duke, he's behaving like a dame. Although he's a man, he's behaving like a woman, because he gave up his kingdom without fighting for it. He just surrendered his kingdom because his brother was, pushing him out and banishing him. So he said, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt. I'll show my anger against all the people who are the firstborn. Now, he wants to actually rail against the Duke Senior. He can't say it, so he says it in a roundabout way. And Eamon says, and I'll go see the Duke. His banquet is prepared. So Jacques says, I'll call everybody around me, because we'll have lunch, we'll have our meal now. And Eamon says, okay, I'll go and call the Duke, because his dinner is ready, his meal is ready, and he should come now.